Hey guys, John Rettinger here with a two-part tour for you of the AT&T Tilt 2. This part's going to cover mostly the software, so it's going to be Windows Mobile or Windows Phone 6.5 and HTC's own TouchFlow 3D. The next part we're going to cover some of the cool hardware things that this device actually has. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This is going to run you $299 after a $50 mail-in rebate on, of course, a 2-year contract with AT&T. But if you are in Europe or anywhere else in the world, this is going to be a very similar experience to what you're going to get with a Touch Pro 2, whether it's a locked or an unlocked device based on your carrier. So what you're going to see right here is a familiar TouchFlow 3D interface. It's not your typical Windows Mobile thing that you may be used to seeing. So the main navigation is done through this bar across the bottom. Essentially the way this works, it uses the resistive touchscreen. Put your finger down, you can slide across, and you can see all the different options that are there. Now, one of the new additions to this version of TouchFlow 3D is you can actually customize in the order of these tabs, which is quite nice. One of the knocks on Windows Mobile or Windows Phone has been that it hasn't been the most finger-friendly of mobile operating systems in the past. And it's also not the best looking operating system in the past. It's certainly very functional for professionals or those that are used to or like the operating system, but for those that are maybe new to it, it hasn't been the most intuitive. So HTC tried to fix that, and with their Skin TouchFlow 3D, most of the time you never even have to get into typical Windows Mobile. So let me show you some examples of that. Right here from the home screen, this is the main screen you'll see, you've got Calendar. If we tap Calendar, we're taken to a new, completely different in Skin's calendar application that we're used to seeing for Windows Mobile. Flick scrolling through each month, and if you want to add something, just give it a tap, and you get a new appointment window, which is very different than what you've had in the past. It automatically jumps you over to Calendar down below, and you can view it by month, day, or year even if you'd like. New appointment, you select that, and now you're into Windows Mobile. But to get to that point, you at least get some skinned, more finger-friendly, and some would say dumbed-down view. I find it just easier to navigate and certainly a lot simpler to use without a stylus. Let's go back home. We're going to go hit the N key for that. So one of the new things that's found in the Tilt 2, and at least for the US market, it's one of the first phones that has Windows Mobile 6.5, or like I said, they're now calling it Windows Phone. And the biggest change that you're going to see in there is in the Start menu. Gone is sort of the grid-arrayed Start menu with the little scroll bar on the side. You've now got a honeycomb finger-friendly look. So you can access that in two ways. Either hit the Start at the top or the Start button right here. We'll go ahead and hit it at the top. Now you get a honeycomb sort of view, and you can scroll through and see your programs much easier. Now certainly this is a resistive screen, so you got to push down to make contact, but it is a very responsive resistive screen, which is quite nice. So you can find one of the things that you like. You can actually move it to top or drag it anywhere you'd like. So there it goes right to the top. People are really split on whether or not they like this honeycomb view. I think it's a much easier way to navigate and view all of your applications. Personally, I think it's a nice, easy way to go. So one of the other things that's new for Windows Mobile 6.5, and really one of the highlights, is the Marketplace. Let me show you that very quickly. So go ahead and open it up. And I should mention that it's not a thing that's automatically installed when you get a Windows Mobile 6.5 device. It's actually a .cab file that you have to download and install, and then you get this Marketplace. And most of the programs right now are free, and they're tied to your Windows Live account. So you have to register a Windows Live account if you want to download anything, whether free or not. So it is a very nice looking, elegant interface, I think. It looks relatively similar to the Android Marketplace, I think. So you can scroll through and see sort of what the most popular are. So we'll hit most popular. And you can view what's in here. Now there aren't that many to speak of right now, certainly more than the Palm App catalog when that launched, but certainly not as many as, say, the iPhone App Store or BlackBerry App World or even Android Marketplace. But there are quite a few, and most of them are free. But you do get some expensive ones. So here Tetris is $7. So when you click one, let me show you what happens. Let's go back up to the top. Scrolling isn't necessarily the smoothest in the world. I'm just over a typical 3G connection right now with 2 bars. Sort of gets a little bit laggy, but it's not bad. Certainly you can navigate through. So here's one called, let's pick a free one. So here's Mobile Manager for Netflix. So it loads. certainly. And you get some information on it, some features, reviews or screenshots, and you can see what it looks like. It's what you'd expect from a mobile marketplace. There was mobile marketplaces on Windows Mobile long before the App Store, the Fandango store, for example. One of the nice things about Windows Mobile is that you could download files directly to the device in a .cab format, and this sort of takes that .cab file format and puts it in a better looking package that's easier to navigate and find things. And if you want to install it, you just hit download and it installs, quite obviously. Let's go back. So this is, again, probably the biggest change to 6.5, at least from an end-user experience that you're going to see, is the honeycomb menu structure. If you're using an unskinned device, so a Windows Mobile device that's not using TouchFlow 3D, you're going to see other sort of finger-friendly enhancements. Windows Mobile 6.5 seems to me to be a stopgap in between now and what will be Windows Mobile 7.0, coming probably sometime in 2010. So let me show you some other cool things that the device has. I'm not going to walk you through everything down here because otherwise this is going to get to be a 30-minute video. But some cool things that you can see are, let's go to Internet. This takes advantage of Opera Mobile. So it uses Opera to use its web browsing as opposed to Pocket Internet Explorer, which, in my opinion, not the best web browser in the world. We're going to get into web browsing a little bit more in the next part of the series when we cover some of the hardware and also, obviously, internet. Now what you can do here is actually add push home pages. What that does is at a prescribed time automatically puts the new version of a web page. So if you, youtube.com/John4Lakers, if you check that, say once a day, you can set it to every day at noon, have it automatically push the page there so there is no load time. The web browser is quite nice, so hit no there. Go back. We'll launch the web browser. So just a sort of a standard web page. This is the AT&T web page. You can view the site in one of two ways. So now it's going to load up. We'll give it a second to queue. So here we are. You can view it either in standard portrait or you can view it in landscape. Slide it up, it'll automatically rotate. The zoom is done via the zoom bar down here, which we'll talk about more in part 2. Put the back up. Roll your finger across and it zooms. Certainly there is no multi-touch to be found, but web browsing will be covered more in depth in part 2. So in the interest of brevity, I'm going to cut this video and we'll leave the rest of the titillating details of the Tilt 2 for part 2. For exclusive content, be sure to check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. And to learn more about Techno Buffalo, check out technobuffalo.com. Links to all of those will be up in the sidebar. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for part 2 of the AT&T Tilt, or the Touch Pro 2. And I'll see you guys in the next one.